welcome to my channel. We have a new Fenty product, new foundation. This is the Eaze Drop Blurring Skin Tint, and I picked up two shades for you guys because I saw on Trend Mood and on Fenty's Instagram that a lot of people that were a little bit on the paler side were saying that there wasn't enough lighter shades, so I picked up the two lightest shades to try out on me. I do have a little bit of tanner on from my Isle of Paradise review, but typically I'm between shade 100 and shade 150. So I wear 120 with the Pro Filter powder, and then I have 120 in the hydrating longwear foundation, and I have shade 150 in the original Pro Filter foundation. Right now I'm about shade 120 typically. 100 is when I'm like super pale, but as of right now I think I'm more of like a shade 150. I didn't tan my face, so there's a little bit of a color difference. So just to give you guys a little backstory there, and I do have combination skin, and I just did wash my face, so we're starting off with a clean canvas. These are pretty much $30 each, $29.50. It's supposed to be a lightweight buildable skin tint that's supposed to give you a smooth blurred natural finish, and it's supposed to be lightweight and buildable from light to medium coverage. We'll see how much of a medium coverage it is. It is a serum-y kind of consistency. I did swatch a little bit on my hand to show you guys the difference between the two colors just on my arm, and blending it out, it does kind of feel like a liquid and then to like a serum, and then it almost dries down to like a powder, and it's supposed to be humidity, sweat, and transfer resistant. So we're gonna test all that out today. It's supposed to be like 80 degrees today, and I will be wearing a face mask, so we're gonna get a good wear test in. And it does say to shake well before you use it, and you can apply it with your fingers, or it recommends the 110 brush, which is this one that kind of has that like flat domed-ish look to it. I did already have this one, but we're gonna give these a really good shake, and I'm gonna do some swatches for you guys. So this is the shade 1, and I'm gonna zoom you guys in so you guys can see. And I don't have any primer on, we're just gonna test out the shades. Ooh, that was a lot. That was just like a tiny little dot. Okay, I think this one's gonna be a bit too pale for me at the moment, which I'm glad I picked up two shades now, because I kind of initially thought I was gonna be shade 1. Now let's try shade 2 on the other side. Yeah, I think shade 2 blends in a lot better with my skin tone. This one's just a teensy bit too pale for me at the moment. All right, so it does say that you can layer it with skincare and or a primer, so I'm gonna do both today. I do have the Fenty Skin, what are you called? The SPF priming moisturizer, basically is what it is. I can't freaking remember the name of it. I'm gonna put this on one side of my face because a lot of their promotional images on Instagram have been promoting this hydrovisor with the Eaze Drop skin tint. So we'll see which one I like the best. And then on the other side, I'm going to use the original Pro Filter primer, and it does say that this is supposed to layer pretty easily over skincare, which is another thing that I look for in a foundation. I'm just gonna let these sit and kind of soak in for a minute. All right, now let's give this a try. I'm gonna go with shade 2, and I'm gonna first just like dispense it on my hand, just like that. And I'm gonna try my fingers first because it does say fingers or a brush. So I'm just gonna pick a little bit up, and you can kind of see the difference between the primer and the hydrovisor. But let's try a little bit. So, ooh, I don't know if I like this with a finger. I did try a new foundation that I actually really like with my fingers. I'm not normally a finger foundation person, but I don't really know. This one almost has like a serum to like a powdery kind of a finish to it, but I'm not a big fan of how my pores are looking. Let me see if I can zoom you guys in. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to tell, but I'm not a big fan of how it looks with my pores with my finger. So let's try a brush, and it could be just the primer. I do like the coverage that it's giving. I do like me a tinted moisturizer, smack dab in the middle here. It does have like a very interesting like wet serum like consistency, but once you blend it in, it really feels like a powder. YSL used to have a foundation like this. I don't think they do anymore. It's not layering as well, and I would like it to. This is the side with a brush and my forehead with the brush. I'm just not liking how it's laying down. So I'm gonna grab a sponge and see if maybe a sponge would apply a little bit better. All right, I got a brand new beauty blender. So let's try beauty blender out. I think I like the beauty blender the most. It's kind of difficult to, you know, go over the foundation with a beauty blender because it kind of dries down to that kind of matte powdery finish. The sponge does add more coverage, and I think I like the way the sponge lays the product down a lot more than my fingers and the brush. But I would definitely experiment. You never know, maybe a brush works better for you. Now, if you guys have been watching or paying attention to Fenty's Instagram, Fenty, there's some before and afters with this skin tint that is way too noticeably photoshopped, and I don't appreciate it. So let's get the real tea on this. Let's zoom in. So I definitely can see like pimples and whatnot through the foundation, which I honestly, it doesn't really bother me all that much, but it definitely doesn't erase them. Like this one picture that I saw the before and after, I was just like, that is so photoshopped. But I think it lays down better with the hydrovisor than the primer. I feel like even on my forehead, the hydrovisor just gives it a little bit more of like a dewy look, while where the primer is, it's a little bit of a drier look, like even on my nose. I'm gonna wear this for the rest of the day, and we're gonna really test this out. There is a like skin tint that used to be my absolute favorite that was by Shiseido that didn't look the greatest when you initially applied it, and it had the same kind of consistency as this, and as you went about your day and kind of like sweated and everything, it really looked great. But I did want to give you guys a little bit of a close-up to give you guys a little bit more. I do love the bottle a lot. It's kind of cool. It fits with like the whole Fenty like aesthetic of everything, and it's like literally the size of the powder. It's so cute. So I do like the packaging a lot, and the colors are just on a sticker. So if you are someone who repurchases their foundation, I definitely make sure that you be careful so the sticker doesn't fall off. And then of course a little shout out to the packaging. And I'm gonna use, I have 2 shades of the concealer as well. I'm gonna use shade 120. You see, bet we're gonna go for like a no makeup kind of a day. All right, I think the concealer laid down pretty well over the foundation. I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup off camera, and I don't think I'm gonna set it with powder, maybe a little bit in my T-zone, but it definitely feels like I have powder on. It's a very strange feeling. So I do think it's buildable. It is a lightweight feeling. It does have a more of like a powdery kind of a feeling to it. I don't know if it's smooth, and I think the side with the Hydro Visor blurred more than the primer with my pores and everything. But I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup and we'll do another little check-in. All right, I just finished all my makeup. Everything is Fenty, and the bronzer laid on really well. Didn't remove the foundation or anything weird, and everything's looking okay. There are a few spots that look a little dry, but I'm gonna see how it lasts throughout the day, if the oils come through and it starts looking better. And if you guys were curious of what eyelashes I'm wearing, it's the ColourPop Bambi Oh Dear lashes. They are my perfect lashes. And my lips is the Fenty Mademoiselle lipstick in Pumpkin Rose. But it is about 11 o'clock right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and go about my day. It is supposed to get about 80 degrees, so hopefully we can test out the humidity, sweat, and transfer resistant. I do have to wear a face mask, so let's get on with the review. All right, it's about 2 o'clock. I went through the sweat, wore a face mask and everything, and the foundation is already looking a lot better now that my oils are coming through. I like this foundation a lot more because at first I was like, don't really know how I feel about it, but let me zoom you guys in. So it did take a bit of foundation off of my nose from wearing the face mask, but I do think that all those dry spots that I was having initially look a lot better now that my oils have come through. I am getting some smile lines, and I do have my forehead lines, which happens with every foundation, but I still like to point it out. But yes, I do think the pores, like the foundation in the pores kind of look, not really digging it, but I do think it is the primer, because this side the foundation is not going into my pores like it is on this side. So I'm definitely gonna have to try this out a little bit more, maybe do my whole face with the Hydro Visor and really give it a good wear test, maybe try it with my fingers a little bit more. But so far I'm just kind of like meh about it, but I do like it more since I've worn it. Now the sweat resistant, I was getting a bit sweaty, so I do think it wears pretty good with sweat. And the transfer resistant, I don't know, because it did come off a decent amount on my nose here, to where I have a Rudolph nose. And as for humidity, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I have a face mask on, I'm always like just like breathing through it, and so it creates this like humid kind of environment underneath my face mask. Really gross. But I do have some foundations that really separate around my mouth area from wearing the face mask, but this one is holding up pretty well other than the smile lines. I could just do a little bit lighter layers because I do feel like I built it up a little bit to a medium coverage rather than a light coverage. It does blend out a-okay, which is typically what I do once I get smile lines. I just kind of tap and they're as good as new. But you guys let me know. What do you guys think of how this foundation is wearing? I definitely feel like my Pro Filter one still is the king. That's still my favorite over the other two foundations that they've come out with. I like them, but they're not like my favorite. This one has been one of my favorite foundations ever, but it's about 2 o'clock, so I'm probably gonna wear this for the rest of the day until about 6, so I'll check in. I'll check in again with you guys, and it'll be about a 7-hour wear test, so hopefully that'll give a good full day's wear test. All right, it is almost 6 o'clock. My eyelashes are like popping off of my eyeballs. They're literally hanging on by a thread, and my lipstick is fading, but so far I'm not mad at this, to be honest. I want to test this out a little bit more because I do think, I don't agree with the transfer resistant claim, but I do think the humidity and the sweat claim to it live up to its claims. I do think it's lightweight. Feels a little less powdery now that I've worn it throughout like the day, which I can't really tell if it's my oils coming through or the foundation, but you can kind of see the residue that's left on my fingers. Not really foundation, but I do want to give this another try. I do want to try it with my Biosense rose oil. I've been using this underneath a lot of my foundations and I've been really liking how it looks. So I do want to try that since there was a little bit dry spots with this foundation. So I don't really know my opinion on it just yet. I'll definitely give an update in a later video. I'm a little disappointed that it wasn't everything that I was looking for, but I do like it enough to where I want to experiment with it. Did it blow my socks off? Nope. But we are approaching spring and summer, so I do want something lightweight that withstand face mask and sweat and humidity. Since I do live in Texas, there's lots of, it gets really hot and humid. But let me know, did you guys pick up this foundation? What did you think about it? And I do think there is enough shades for the lighter spectrum of people, because this one is pretty light and this one I would say matches more shade 120, which is what I'm wearing right now, shade 2, and I also wear shade 120. Actually, let me just do a little swatchy swatch for you guys so that you can see. So this is shade 1, this is shade 2, and then I have shade 150 in the Pro Filter foundation and 120 in the hydrating foundation, so you guys can gauge. Well, maybe it is a little bit closer to 150. I don't really know. I feel like I could also maybe try shade number 3, which does look a little bit more similar to the shade 1. What am I trying to say? Shade number 3 looks pretty similar to 150, but now that I swatched out, they look really similar. Ooh, that's a hard one, because I don't really know. If it was a more sheer foundation, I would probably, I don't know, because I don't really know. Like, I am a little bit tan from the self tanner that I have on, but I don't know. Let me know if you guys have trouble finding your shade with this foundation, because I don't know, but if you do wear a similar shade to me, I do think shade number 2 would work out for you. And if you're paler, shade number 1, and if you're a little bit darker, shade number 3. So hopefully this video helps you guys out. I did want to do one last little zoom in to everything. I do like the side with the priming moisturizer way more than the regular primer. I don't know if it's because of my combination skin that the primer kind of like dried my skin out, because I feel like this side has way more oils coming through than the other side. But you guys can see my wonky eyelashes over here. But yes, I do want to give this a little bit more testing time before I give my final opinion. But oh, and the smile lines did come back. But yeah, I'm a little stumped on this. Don't really know my thoughts, but if you guys want to watch another Fenty Beauty video, I did try out the body sauce, so if you want to check that video out, that video will be right over here for you guys. This video will be suggested to you by YouTube, and my face will be right here. Click on it and subscribe to my channel.